Hey guys, so for this video we're going to look into just adding a bit more texture variation to this, but kind of using the same principles we talked about with the previous video as far as like fill layers and grunge maps. Now we've kind of got some really cool breakup here, but if you take a look at the reference again, you can see there's a lot of like orange kind of like staining in here, these little circular patterns as well. So a couple of interesting things to note about these guys is the orange color, that kind of like warmer tone. Doesn't it feel like it's only reacting with that lighter part of the fabric? It doesn't really seem like that orange tint is affecting the darker part quite as much. So let's try to like get that working first, and then I'm going to try to layer these little like bluer circular pieces on top of everything. We'll kind of check how all this is working at the end. Now, one kind of thing about this part when we're doing that orange color is how do we get the orange to layer over just the white or the lighter part of that fabric? Because remember, the way we set this up is we have this other fill layer with a bunch of grunge maps that's lightening the texture below it, or so layering over a lighter color, I mean. So in order to get this orange kind of tone to appear, it needs to kind of use the same procedural, so it understands to appear in those same areas. But I can't really just make this color change across there. So what we want to do instead is, once we're kind of happy with the procedural we have here, I'm actually going to grab this whole layer and we're going to make a duplicate. Let's call this fabric warm stain, so it's like a warmer color. Okay, so it's layering over itself. Now on this one, since it's the same thing layering on top of the previous one, I'm going to go in there and we're just going to try warming up the color to something a little more like that. Let's kind of check the reference. Like that actually is pretty close. Now from here what I can do is look at our mask. Okay, so it's the exact same mask from before because again it's a duplicate. But now what I'm talking about is, well, based on the reference, that kind of warmer tone isn't really all of those kind of stains. It's like sections of it, right? And it kind of has this little soft fall off. So the only change here on this duplicated layer is I want to now pull back and remove some of those whites so that warmer color doesn't appear on everything. So now instead of adding procedurals together like we've been doing before, we're now going to start subtracting and removing that. So let's try this out. We are going to add a new fill layer. And now from here what I'm going to do is go over to my procedurals. I want to find something relatively soft, and there's a bunch of different ones that could work, like fractal sum, there's cloud textures. You know, maybe I'll try one of the cloud ones, I guess. We'll do clouds too. Just drag that over to the fill. And I could like play around with the contrast, but let's just look at what we're seeing in the viewport, okay? This looks like a dusting over everything. So what happened? It's because the cloud is covering and replacing what we did before. So we've lost all that grunge map detail. Remember that I'm trying to remove the white, not layer something over on top of it. So let's try playing around with a few blend modes. One that's really good is going to be multiply, and subtract has a fairly similar effect. Both of those guys will kind of remove the whites from a map. Let's do multiply. So let me turn this on and off so you can see the difference. See how that's kind of creating these like slightly darker patches? Now I can use that. We're going to go back to color. I'm going to now click on that mask now that I can kind of see what's going on. And let's just kind of play around with the contrast. Let's boost this up. Yeah, you can kind of see if I zoom in here. Let me slide that down again. It's subtle. I don't know if you guys can kind of catch how there's like more variation between the warmer areas. I'm going to pull that down. There we go. Let's pull the contrast back a little bit. See how it's kind of interesting how we have like these little patches now where it's kind of dipping into like a slightly warmer tone. Kind of like that. Let's boost this up. Pull that back. I'm just kind of playing around, seeing what I like. Balance is clipping it out. I don't really care for the transition, so I might leave the balance right around 0.5. And I think I just want to work with contrast. Yeah, something around there looks pretty decent. Let me see what that mask looks like. Not too bad. Turn that on and off. It's subtle, but that is definitely removing some of it. And one thing I could do as well is overall, if I just felt like I wanted to fade the entire effect out, because maybe it's just covering a little bit too much, I could very easily go in there and like layer in a solid color, just like a fill layer with a color slider, and just use that as a way to kind of fade everything at once. But I actually kind of do like how that looks right now. That's not too far off. Excellent. All right, let's do this again, but let's try to get those little circular patterns in there. So we're going to do another fill layer, and let's disable everything. So I'm just working with color. We're going to call this one Fabric Blue Stain. So what I'm trying to recreate this time are these little kind of slightly bluer circular patterns. A little lighter, but it's almost like a teal color, I guess. So only doing color. We're going to put a black mask on it. Let's do another fill. Let's see what we can do with this guy. And this time we're going to type in stain. And we do have a couple pretty interesting ones. Let's see. We go to alphas too. Are there any alphas that might work? Actually, some pretty cool ones here in the alphas. Maybe we could try this out. Yeah, let's give it a shot. We only need a couple of them anyway. We'll see if this works better. Now, since I'm doing an alpha, which is more of like a brush effect, I can't do that on a fill layer. So let's remove the fill, and instead we're going to try doing a paint. So we're just kind of experimenting, just seeing what happens. All right, looks like there's something enabled. See how I move the brush around? So I probably have a stencil turned on somewhere. Yeah, let's remove, I have a stencil from something I was doing earlier. Let's hit the X on that, get rid of it. There we go, that's a brush. And we're gonna do, let's try this guy. Okay, and let's just paint that maybe right there. Okay, what else we got? We have maybe like a nice blob there. We'll do a couple other smaller ones. Maybe we'll come over here, just rotate it, scale it down a little bit, and let me fade the opacity back. I'm playing around with the flow and opacity. Let's click one right there. Let's grab a different one, scale this one up, fade that back. Might be kind of cool to have some like dustier details like around it. And let's try this other guy. And we'll maybe put him over there. Take a smaller one, maybe have a couple small pieces here. I'm going to bring the flow down, click there. That's kind of cool. Yeah, just definitely playing around with a few different things. Not really any you know, goal here to get it exactly like it. We're just kind of having fun, seeing what we can get. Okay, now I know this looks a little weird right now because I kind of have that gray color on it. And I could spend a lot more time refining this, you know, especially if I was trying to get an exact match. But I think generally we're kind of heading the right direction. Let's just see what happens if we try to pick that same color and then modify it a little bit. Okay, so we're going to pick that as my starting point. Clicking here to color. This is going to be a little lighter. So maybe right around like that. And I need more saturation, it looks like. We're going to boost that up a little bit. That's actually kind of cool looking. Not bad. Now the final thing I'm going to do here is just try to like add some other material properties to it. So I kind of think we're at a good point with the texture detail. A lot of nice colors, feels pretty believable. But if I shift and right click and move the light, see how aside from the color, this still looks really flat? And that's because on all these different fill layers we've done, we've never really pushed any height or roughness. It's only affecting color. Now I don't know if I necessarily need to turn this on for all these guys, but maybe what we could do is turn those two layers off. Let's just start with this kind of first layer we set up. I'm going to turn on roughness first. Now as soon as I do that, there's a roughness slider. You can tell how all those lighter areas are acting like they're more reflective, they're shinier. Let's boost this up a little bit. I think I want to have a little bit of a lower roughness, but not to the point where it looks completely wet. Okay, let's just shift right click. It's subtle, but it's not too bad. We can always check the roughness map. Yeah, see how it's a little darker, so it's a little shinier, but not much. I think that should be good. And let's see, height detail, I'm kind of on the fence about that. I may not even turn on height for this one because I don't want it to look like those stains are like chunks that are like lifted up off the surface. So I'm going to leave it as just roughness. Let's turn this one on. Okay, we have color variation for that. I don't think we need to change the roughness on that one. This one, I think we could maybe introduce some roughness variation. So maybe those are a little more defined and wetter. So for this guy, we're going to turn roughness on, and I'm going to leave it higher than this, but probably darker than the previous layer. So let's go to hit C. Yeah, see how now those stains are the darker roughness of everything? So that's going to be the shiniest part of the book. And if I kind of move the light back and forth, you can see how that is what's happening. Those little blue stains are slightly more reflective than the things around it. But overall, I kind of really like the way that's turning out. So in the next video, we're going to really carry this detail over and focus on the leather.